I'm Mitra Sorrells in the PhocusWire studio with Massimo Morin of AWS. Welcome, Massimo.
Hi, Mitra. I'm Massimo Morin, the Global Head of Travel here at the AWS. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, wonderful to see you. So first of all, can you give us an update on what AWS is doing in travel and how you are working with companies in regard to technology?
We are seeing an acceleration of digital transformation that actually what it means is that artist company in travel, airline, airport, ground transportation, travel seller and services, but also hotel, cruise line that are adopting more of the technology. But they want the best-in-class services to actually serve their customer, enhancing customer experience, and improving operational efficiency. So we see an acceleration of adoption of cloud technology. Why is that important? It is important because you have access to services of the internet, of things that you need, and you see and you test it, you see if it works. If it works, you use it, you pay as you go, you scale it up, you go global in second, but if it doesn't work, you put it back and you don't pay for it. That is actually what we are seeing today.
So, of course, we have to talk about AI. It's what everybody's talking about. What would you say is the role of machine learning, AI, generative AI in all of this? And what types of trends or successes have you seen?
Yes, we have seen an increased adoption of machine learning, artificial intelligence, as well as generative AI. It's not that we haven't seen that before, but now it became much more real. We have a variety of examples of traditional AI. For example, we have Ryanair that is using, they created this project called the Panini Predictor to actually determine how much food to bring inside the plane to reduce wastage.
Wow.
So a funny fact is with their 180 million passengers a year, they have a captive audience and they are the largest cheese sandwich sellers in all Europe. But the problem is that they actually load the plane once a day. And the plane goes from airport to airport, so they cannot actually replenish the plane all the time. So how many sandwiches do you bring in? So much that you do not disappoint your customers, but at the same time, you don't throw away too much. So they created a model that simulated the consumption, and they were able to cut the cost, cut the waste by 50%, and increase profitability by by many millions of euros a year just to do that. That is a classic example of adoption of machine learning, artificial intelligence. But we can see it a bit everywhere. Simple things like generative AI to summarization of call when the customer call their contact center of airline like Air Canada, or you have Delta Airlines. So you are removing the busy work of this agent and letting the machine to actually collect this information and enrich your profile. So now next time you call, you know how the experience was. So this is what is happening, and there is an acceleration. Why is that? Because ChatGPT came along 2 years ago and every CEO said, I want my application to speak English. Well, it's not that simple. Every CEO tell the CIO to do something. The CIO said, well, what can we do? Well, what is the problem you're trying to solve? What is the ROI and the KPI that you can actually measure? What is the timeline you can put in production? But more specifically, what is the data that you have that you can execute on? And that is actually key. If you do not have your data in order, then you're not going to go anywhere.
So let's talk about that. And that's certainly something that I've heard before, that really we can't just talk about AI and generative AI
Right.
without talking about the data.
Yes.
And it being so critical. Talk a bit more about that piece of it, the data, and how that ties into customer centricity.
Right. So every travel and hospitality company want to be customer centric. They want to put the traveler at the center of it. But the challenge is actually, where is the data about the customer? You have data with marketing, you have data with sales, you have activity on the website, you have data on the contact center, you have loyalty, you have the operation. They usually are broken down into silos and they don't talk to each other. So how many times you have been on a disrupted flight and just when you landed, finally reach the destination, then you get, how was your experience? Maybe not the right time actually to get a survey. Or when you are trying to make a booking on the website and then you fail to make for the credit cards not working, you call the contact center and the agent asks you, how can I help you today? It's pretty obvious what the customer wants to do. So the ability to actually aggregate, collect, and duplicate customer data, every single source of truth of data is particularly important. And this is actually what we are working today. We have customers like United, Air Canada, Choice Hotel, Travel Brand, and a variety of other companies that are looking specifically into that. How do I get more insight by my customers so to be more customer-centric and help them do their processes on whatever they're doing throughout the traveler experience?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of legacy technology
There is
there
a lot
that's
of legacy.
creating some of those silos, right? So it sounds like you're hopeful and confident that we are moving toward breaking those down and
we are moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm working very closely with the airlines, so the United, the Delta, the Southwest. I was at American just last week. So there is a lot of work of getting away from the legacy, improving the operation. We're seeing examples like United with their intelligent airport with asset tracking, so putting sensor on all the equipment that is at the underground side, so they can actually reduce the search time for the gate agent if the tow truck is there, the stairs is there, so the passengers don't wait in the plane on the tarmac to actually have the plane to dock. Fun fact, they were able to find more than $120 million of assets they didn't know they had. So that is our initial saving. But then you start positioning the equipment where it makes more sense. So you don't move stuff around. And therefore, you improve even the consumption of energy. You become more sustainable because you do not actually transfer stuff around. But now you start doing planning better. You start servicing the customer better. This is what is happening every day today.
Wow. It sounds almost too good to be true to hear you describe it like that. Yeah. Talk just a bit more about, how you see customer engagement, retailing, servicing really changing thanks to generative AI and AI.
So we should move away from the concept of retailing, of selling more to the customers. The real retailing, and I talk from Amazon, and it is the largest online retailing in the world. So it's not only selling the right product to the right customer at the right time, but also supporting when things don't go well. Think about when you are walk from a hotel, or when you miss a connection, or when you are at a destination and your baggage doesn't arrive, or when you're calling the contact center. So it's actually the servicing component that is particularly important. We are seeing a lot of airline and travel suppliers that are actually changing their way of thinking on how to serve the customer. And that is actually becoming real retailer, working backward from the customer needs. And big transformation we are seeing, for example, with United, the Connective Media Initiative. I'm not sure if you have seen it. Did you?
I don't think so, no.
So United created the first travel media network targeting their own 100 million customers. So what they did is, it's the holy grail that any travel and hospitality company have, is you have a captive audience. How do you capitalize and serve them better when they're flying around, when they're preparing for a trip, or they are actually thinking about a trip? So what they did is they created, with a concept of a clean room, they aggregate customer data and create audiences, anonymized audiences, and they were actually partnering, for example, with Ticketmaster.
Oh.
So now Ticketmaster says, hey, I would like to sell a ticket or give advertising to travelers that are going to Amsterdam next weekend. So they go to United, they send this information, United identify those audiences, and then they target them through their digital asset. Now it's becoming real retailing, because now I'm receiving relevant proposal and information about me, about my trip. And I think that that is a game changer, because it's really showing how, for example, United is taking this to the next level.
Yeah. And as you're talking about it, I did definitely hear about that. And it's really a very interesting concept, certainly, to have that better targeted advertising. As we are wrapping up, I ask you to just tell us a bit about what you would say AWS is doing to really accelerate business transformation in travel specifically.
So we are working very close with our customers. We have industry veteran like myself. We have a dedicated team that actually engage with the senior leaders at our travel and hospitality customers. And working backward from that, from them, we ask what are the things that really matters to them. So one thing is talking big game about a big transformation strategy, but another is actually how to bring partners that help them accelerate into this journey, how to create solution and build a solution for them to accelerate this journey. So either if it is for enhancing customer experience, or for improving operational efficiency, or even enhancing the employee experience. So we have seen it all. We have not only the technology that enable that, we have the experience, the customer, and the partner that enable to answer the question that our customers are coming along.
Wow. Very interesting. It absolutely makes sense. And actually that piece about the employee is interesting, because that's really the start of the loyalty there, right? Your employee.
I have a phenomenal story from Ryanair. They made Ryanair Connect, that they create an employee mobile app. So the employee can actually self-serve to switch turn to actually request time off, or actually have a live chatbot using generative AI to answer questions like, when should I go to the airport? What is the process of onboarding on this plane? If I want to ask for time off, what should I do? And that is actually, I was having a conversation a few minutes ago. It's important to have an excellent customer experience, but also remember your employee are the face of the company,
Yeah.
are with your customers. So making them happy will make your customer happy.
Yeah.
So investing on them is actually equally important. We are seeing a lot of traction on these things from pretty much everybody.
Yeah, well, it's all great to hear. It gives me a lot of optimism to talk to you, to hear about all these wonderful things happening, you know, as a traveler and as someone following this industry. I mean,
I don't think we do a good enough job educating the traveling public of the excellent work that we do on bringing people safe and sound from one side of the world to the other side of the world. However, we should do better. Why? Because the expectation of the customer changed. The pandemic made a huge change. All this digital asset with Facebook and TikTok and so forth, instant gratification, understanding the customer, those are the kind of things that they are expecting from us. And we are not able to actually to react fast enough for that. That is why we are here at AWS to provide the technology that enable them to act on this.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Massimo Morin from AWS. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Bye-bye.